A trade-filled edition of Boston Celtics Today by Chat Sports as we have a new update on Anfernee Simons and whether or not he'll actually end up suiting up for the C's. Also, we'll go through some Anfernee Simons trade ideas because in all likelihood he is going to get dealt. And there's starting to be some interest around the NBA. And then Bleacher Report went through every NBA team and dropped a trade package for that team's best asset. We're going to find out what that proposal was at the end of today's show. But first, go down below and hit the thumbs up icon because I'm trying to find out where the real ones are at. If you're a diehard Boston Celtics fan watching this video in the heat of late August and the dog days of the offseason, show me, hit the thumbs up icon and like today's show. Alrighty, it's looking like Anfernee Simons is going to suit up for your Boston Celtics this upcoming season. A trade doesn't look like it's on the horizon at this point. We know that Brad Stevens and the Celtics have kind of kept Anfernee Simons in a little bit of limbo. They haven't done the introductory press conference or anything like that because they've been surveying the league to see if they can trim even more salary as Simons is set to make $27 million on an expiring contract. So they weren't dead set on bringing him in to start the season, but there hasn't been a huge market for Simons. So it's looking like he's going to suit up in green, at least for the start of training camp. We'll see how long that ends up. Brett Siegel saying this: while it doesn't appear as if there's a trade on the horizon involving Simons before training camp, the Celtics have been aggressive in shedding cap space and salaries this summer. Since acquiring Simons, Boston has continued to put out feelers to teams that have shown past interest in the young guard to get a sense of what his market currently looks like and could shape up to be before the trade deadline in February, according to sources. I'll tell you what, like the dry market that's out there for Anfernee Simons right now, I think it's going to blow up in a lot of teams' faces. What have the Celtics been able to do with a lot of different players at different positions over the past half decade or so? Rehabilitate and bring out like parts of a player that weren't previously seen. And there are absolutely aspects of Anfernee Simons' game that we have yet to see out there on the basketball court because he's been a part of a lot of losing teams up in Portland. They haven't really had an identity. They've been led by a lot of young talent, like that's younger than me for the most part. Like Simons is a really, really good player, especially in the offensive end. But if they can tap into his defense, maybe he could raise his stock up a little bit, and teams will have to pay a little bit more for Simons than they think they would right now. Because this is a guy who's is going to go out there and get you 18 to 20 points every single night. There's some nights where he can go off for 30. Sometimes he can go off for 40. Like, he is an absolute microwave out there. And then if you can actually get him to buy in a little bit defensively, like, you're going to be seeing the teams line up for a player like this to try to help them in their playoff runs and pursuits because, he's absolutely a player that can do that kind of thing and move a needle for some of these teams if he's under the right direction and if he gets the right mindset under in his game to play both sides of the floor while still being an effective offensive player. We know how efficient of a volume shooter he is as well. And like I said, it might be in the best interest of Brad to wait this whole thing out, right? When you think about what the market is right now for Anfernee Simons, it's teams are probably asking Boston to attach draft capital in order to move Simons away. It is a big contract. It's not an expiring deal, and a lot of times you have to attach draft assets to get those deals done. But how about Brad Stevens just lets Joe Mazzulla do his thing for a little bit? Like, Simons is a player who I believe would fit very well in a Joe Mazzulla high-octane, high-volume three-point shooting system. So that could very well play into Simons' hand and only elevate his stock and trade value even more as teams kind of see him in a winning organization. Maybe not a winning team this upcoming season, but at least like a team that rides on defense. And obviously, that they have the offensive identity of getting all those shots up, but like they identify themselves based on how hard they play and how hard-nosed of a defensive team they are. So I think if Simons kind of get that identity under his belt, then teams are going to be lining up to go out there and trade for him. It's probably in the best interest of Boston to try to get him and to raise his stock during the regular season in green. With that being said, he looks like he's going to play for your season this upcoming year. How excited are you about Anfernee Simons joining your Boston Celtics? Scale it for me down in the comments, 1 through 100. 1 meaning I'm not hyped at all. Get this guy out of Boston before he even steps foot on the floor. 100 meaning this is your favorite player in the NBA. Let me know what you guys think down below. Now let's get into some Anfernee Simons trade ideas. As we had heard previously, the Philadelphia 76ers, Denver Nuggets, and even the Milwaukee Bucks have registered at least some level of interest in Simons over this summer. But what would Boston get back in a trade for Simons? Well, Siegel did say this in his article as well. He said that should the Celtics decide to trade Simons, they'll do so with the idea of expanding their overall depth. Boston won't take back long-term contracts unless it's a player who can directly have a positive impact on their chance of competing for a title during the 26-27 season, similar to what happened in 2023 with Holiday and Porzingis. Okay, so I can agree, but I can disagree here with Siegel because I don't think the Celtics would necessarily decline a trade just because a player has a long contract they would take it on, but I do think that they would try to flip that contract thereafter. So in a sense, they're not trying to take on long-term contracts, but I don't think that would stop them from making an Anfernee Simons trade if they felt like they could flip that player that's in a long-term deal quick down the line. So let's get into this number one trade ideas. These are going to be very soft frameworks of trades. We're not involving any picks or anything like that. We're just trying to get 2 players or however many players salary matches up to what Anfernee Simons will be making this upcoming season, around $27 million. So the first one from the Chicago Bulls will be sending Kevin Huerter and Jalen Smith over to Boston. Huerter is on a little bit more of a long-term deal, and he is a player who I think could actually serve as the Celtics in 2026, 27, and beyond. He's a lights-out three-point shooter, and you can never have too many of those guys who shoot it at a 40% clip. And then Jalen Smith, he'll be on an expiring deal this upcoming year, about $9 million at the center spot. And Celtics have a lot of uncertainty in the front court. I don't love this deal, but it's out there, and it's just another combo of players that probably makes sense as far as what Simons' value looks like right now. What about the Phoenix Suns? And I like this deal a little bit more, but I will say it carries the most long-term financial commitments out of any trade that we're going to talk about on today's show. So Grayson Allen and Royce O'Neal come over from Phoenix in this deal. Allen makes about $17 million, $16, $17 million, and then Royce O'Neal makes about $10 million. So you, in theory, would not want to take back and hold $27 million that you're trading away, right? So you try to flip one of these 2 guys, whether it be Neal or Grayson Allen. I think either one of those guys could end up being long-term pieces for the Celtics off of the bench. We'll get 2 more trades to talk about in just a moment. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We're bringing you guys daily Celtics videos in the heat of August. Nobody else is doing that on the YouTube streets, so subscribe to us. We give you breaking news coverage when that goes down. We'll be live for watch parties when the season rolls around as well, breaking down every single game, play-by-play, got the scoreboard, got all the good stuff. It's all 100% free Celtics coverage here on the channel. And join 53,000 diehard Celtics fans and subscribe to Celtics Today. Alrighty, Nets trade. And we talked about this one a little bit ago. What about Terrence Mann and Haywood Highsmith? If we want to go a little bit more of a lean into that defensive identity, Terrence Mann can play on that side of the floor, and we know how good of a defender Haywood Highsmith is. He even D'd up Jason Tatum very well in a couple of their playoff matchups. And you could obviously send away Simons to the Nets here. Now, they have their own issues going on with Cam Thomas. I don't know how open they would actually be to a Simons trade, but this would help you get closer and closer to that luxury tax line. Mann, Highsmith, 2 very flippable contracts, and Mann is also on a multi-year deal as well. So I would assume that Boston would try to flip him, maybe keep a guy like Highsmith to be that nice point of attack defender off of the bench. What about trade idea number 4, though? This one is wild. I saw this on HeavySports.com, and it's a doozy. I don't know how likely it is. I think this is obviously the best collection of assets that would be getting sent back to Boston. Gary Trent Jr., Ryan Rollins, they're definitely on. They're on these 1-year deals, so those would come off of the books pretty easily. They're very flippable, like $3-4 million deals. And then Bobby Portis is kind of the whale that comes back in this trade, $14.5 million, but he's on a 4-year contract extension now, or they believe it's 3-year contract extension starting this upcoming year. So would Boston be opposed to bringing that in? I mean, at $14.5 million at the non-taxpayer mid-level, Bobby Portis is absolutely a steal at that spot. And I'm not sure that Milwaukee would want to give him up. Like, he's a big part of their offense. He's their sixth man. Giannis loves him. Like, they didn't want to trade him this summer for Jonathan Kuminga. Like, a 22-year-old, like, upstart, could be an all-star down the line. And that makes me think that they probably wouldn't want to deal him for Anfernee Simons. But I think this package right here is by far the best that we've seen on today's show. With that being said, what do you guys think? Pick a trade to make for Anfernee Simons down in the comment section. If it's trade 1, you want to deal with the Bulls and get Huerter and Jalen Smith, type 1. If it's the Suns trade and you would want to get Grayson Allen and Royce O'Neal, type 2. If it's the Nets trade and you want the defenders in Terrence Mann and Haywood Highsmith, drop a 3 down in the comment section. And if it's number 4 with the Bucks package, this one is probably the most unrealistic out of the 4, but type a 4 down below in the comments. Next, we're going to get to Bleacher Report's crazy trade proposal, and it doesn't involve Anfernee Simons, so we'll get to that around the corner. But first, get hooked up with this awesome deal. Tatum, jerseys, evergreen. They're the Kelly Green Association jerseys. Go get them today. Chatsports.com/Tatum shirt. They're on a sale. They're not going to be on sale forever, though. All the sizes are available. Don't worry. Chatsports.com/Tatum shirt. Don't worry. I put that link in the comment section and description of today's video to make it easy for you guys. Go get yourself a Tatum jersey you can wear any day of the week right now. All right, Hugo Gonzalez, is he going to get traded by the Boston Celtics? Well, Bleacher Report threw out an article of all 30 NBA teams and listed a trade proposal for each team's best asset. And they decided to not go down the Anfernee Simons route. They're going with Hugo Gonzalez here, the Celtics' first-round draft pick from 2025. And here is the trade that they proposed. Okay. The Celtics received Justin Champagnie in exchange for Hugo Gonzalez. and a second-round pick. So we're trading for a bench, like a back end of rotation player for our first-round pick, and we have to attach a second. I mean, like, who does Bleacher Report hire these days? What kind of what? It makes absolutely no sense. I mean, like, think about that. You just drafted a guy in the first round. He hasn't stepped foot on the court for you yet, and you have to attach a pick to him to get a guy in Justin Champagnie who's never averaged more than 8 points in his career? What are we doing here? Look, I know Champagnie was actually pretty solid for the Wizards last year, and he's put up some big performances against Boston because a lot of those have been blowouts, and he's just putting garbage time buckets up. But he can put the ball in the cup. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. But he's not a player that has the ceiling of Hugo Gonzalez. I'm not saying Hugo Gonzalez is going to be an all-star or anything like that, but he absolutely provides two-way upside and already has the things that you need in between the ears as an NBA player. He's going to give you all the energy that he's got. He's going to dive on the floor for loose balls. He's going to win those 50-50 battles. And that's the type of thing you can't put a price tag on, especially when he's on a rookie contract at the end of the first round. Makes no sense for me to make this deal whatsoever, but I thought I would throw it out there to you guys so we can give you all the Celtics content that you're missing on the interwebs. Make it known for me down in the comment section. Do you believe in Hugo Gonzalez, the Celtics' #1 overall pick this past draft? Is he going to be on the floor this upcoming season? Share your thoughts on that as well down in the comment section. Yes or no, do you believe in Hugo or not? That'll do it for today's show. Give me a follow over on Twitter at Tyler J. Smith. 2 H's because the name's common, but I am not. And make sure you are subscribed to the channel. That will do it. And turn notifications on so you never miss a moment here. We're in the dog days of the offseason, but the real sicko content's coming out right now. YouTube.com/CelticsTV. We'll see you in the next one. And as always, let's go Seas.